Hey everyone, my name's Tony, and today we're going to talk about Payday 3. I'm a big fan of the Payday franchise. I have around 800 hours in Payday 2, love the game, and then Payday 3 was announced. Pre-ordered Gold Edition as soon as I could, played beta, played the few days before it actually launched for everybody, and I think most of us know how it actually turned out. So I'm going to go over my wish list, what I think would make the game better, and just kind of talk about it some. As you can see by the background, I'm not actually playing Payday 3, but don't worry, nobody else is either. So let's just jump straight into it. Now, these are in no particular order. I'm just going to go with what comes to my mind. The first thing is those damn circles. I don't know who thought that was good gameplay. I don't know why that was in the game, but standing in a single spot because you have to get a Wi-Fi signal to open this gate or to open this door or follow the guard around, which following the guard around isn't too bad compared to the just stand in this spot for 60 seconds or whatever while the cops do nothing. I just don't understand. Those completely need to be removed. The next thing that I would really like to see are the actual weapon stats. From my understanding, there are class of weapons. So you have pistols, revolvers, submachine guns, machine guns, etc. And their bars that show them their stats are actually relative to one another in the same category, but not to other categories. So you can have a revolver that's sitting, let's say the bar is about 50%, and you have a pistol that's about 50%, but they deal different damage because the pistol base damage is 32 and the revolver base damage is 100. I'm just using these numbers. I don't know the actual numbers. They don't seem to be relative to one another, so it's kind of hard to judge by just looking at the bars what does what. Like how much damage is this going to do and everything. And just the stats all around are a little confusing. I'm just not a big fan of them. I prefer the Payday 2 the way that one was laid out. But yeah, that's my opinion around the gun stats. I think the biggest change that needs to happen is the replayability. I feel like if I'm playing stealth or I'm playing loud, I'm playing the exact same game no matter what I do. None of the builds feel very different. The maps don't really feel that different. And what I do game to game is just mostly the same. To touch on that a little bit more, in Payday 2, you had the pre planning, which could drastically change how you do that heist. One of my favorite ones to replay is the Golden Grin Casino because you can change up how you play so much. And you don't have that in Payday 3. Now, I didn't go into Payday 3 assuming that I was going to have everything that Payday 2 had. I had the correct expectations, or well, let me rephrase that. I had a certain level of expectations. I figured we'd have a few heists, few guns, few characters, and they were basically just building on the Payday 2 story where everything left off. And you were essentially starting over, and they would, of course, put out DLC over time because that's how they fund their game, live service. And I knew that. What I wasn't expecting was to go in and have features from Payday 2 that were beloved just ripped from Payday 3. That didn't make any sense. Pre-planning was one of the big ones. I don't understand who I just don't understand some of the choices made for Payday 3. And that's one of the big ones. The next thing I want to talk about is the skill system. In Payday 2, it felt like you had a lot of choices. You could go heavy armor, you go dodge build, you had a bunch of different choices, bunch of different options and ways to play the game. And Payday 3 skills, I there's a few core skills for the build that I'll pick. Like, am I gonna fire from the hip? Am I using a rifle? You got a few core skills, and then you get all the convenience ones. You get your extra armor bags. You get the transporter, carry some extra bags, and I'm not really changing up my playstyle too much. I'm basically getting everything I want every single time with just minor tweaks depending on what gun I decide to use for that heist. The next thing I want to talk about, it has to be the overkill, overskill, whatever they're calling it these days, system. You build up your bar, then you get to call in a really cool weapon. I get the idea behind it. I do. I do understand the idea behind it. So you're not just coming in with a minigun and an RPG or whatever else. But you took some of the fun away. You know, I like to go in Payday 2 sometimes with just heavy armor, a minigun, an RPG, and just blast things. It's fun. I think that's what this game is actually lacking. It's just not fun. I don't have that power fantasy. I enjoyed Payday 2 doing ridiculous things. Yeah, my friend is chasing me around going, Tony, please follow, because I always played Scarface. You know, it was fun where we've got miniguns and RPGs and the Thanatos and you name it, you know, the little shoddy that is absolutely unstoppable. It was fun. And Payday 3, I don't know, it's like it took itself more serious. It went away from Payday 2 and took itself more serious, and I don't know why. And it kind of ripped out a lot of the fun and power fantasy aspects of Payday 2. Another thing I want to talk about is the music. And I've seen a couple of videos on this because I couldn't put it into words. I'm not artistically inclined, I guess. I don't know. I don't know music well. I'll just put it that way. There's just something different about Payday 3, and I can't put my finger on it. It's like the music isn't quite there. It's not bad. It's just not great. Like Payday 2, I don't know. It felt like there was this build up. Then the songs were insane, and then it fell off. And in Payday 3, I don't know, there's just something missing there, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure there are people who are much smarter than me in this field who can explain that. And like I said, I have watched some videos of people who explained it very well. But there's just something missing in the music that really drives it all home, you know, brings it together. And the last thing on my list, and this one is the most important, which is why I saved it for the end. The number one thing, I just want my money back. I can see the writing on the wall. This game has maybe 1,000 players average a day. You know, they've cut funding. They've moved developers over to other projects like Baxter, and I think there's another unnamed project. I know how corporate is, and I can see the writing on the wall, and I don't see this game actually coming back, and that really sucks as a Payday fan. I really wanted this to be good, but I'm not enjoying playing it, so how can I expect other people to come in and fund the game when me as a huge Payday fan, I don't even want to play it. I'm not playing it right now. I haven't played it in months. And I think that it just sucks. It really does. I want to love this game. I do, and I just can't. It's just not there. And so at the top of my wish list is just a refund. And that's painful to say. I don't mean to be so negative on the game. I want to love the game. I do it. Like I said, Payday fan. I want the game to succeed. I just don't think it is. I don't think it will. I think it's much more likely that it's taken out back and put down before it makes a turnaround. And it just sucks. It really does. But hope you guys enjoyed me just kind of talking and ranting about Payday 3. If you like this one, boy, you're going to love a Ubisoft one I've got cooking right now. I've been a long time Ubisoft fan, or used to be at least. But with that being said, I'll have a video out for you guys next week. Have a damn good day, everyone.